Hello, friends. Welcome. A whole 6 minutes late. Oh no. Send me to the wood chipper. But all joking aside, back here with the Emberpelts live play stream here at Cycle 27, Day 12. Hoping today to spend a little bit of time maybe getting some bots going. We did start making some fuel. And we have a decent amount of science here. So I think if we are able to get some more industrial stuff cleaned up, we might stand a pretty decent chance at having some of it automated by the time we're done today. My God, you and your number crunchers. They're right here. They're where they've always been. You also have a number cruncher emote. Let's see if I can send that without things going terribly poorly. There we go. Beard boosters do have access to that in the chat below. But yes, we have a couple of these liquid fuel engines that we aren't doing anything with because we haven't moved our industry because I ran out of time and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with it. But we're going to go ahead and get started with doing that. I think 2,000 HP is what these are going to put out together. So that should be enough. Well, more than enough to do another instance of this. Don't forget, Emberpelts have these large versions of the industrial buildings that take up half again as much space, use half again as much power, but have double the output and employ twice the beavers. So, I think that's going to be our ticket here. What are our storages looking like? We got charcoal, which we probably aren't going to need that much of, but I guess that's fine. We've got logs, we got planks, we've got more charcoal that we probably don't need nearly that much of anymore, but I guess that is fine. Are we not making metal? I don't think we are. Oh, because we aren't getting metal because we ran out. That's right. That's one of the things we're going to try to fix. We've got this underground ruins right here. We haven't put the mine on yet because we didn't have enough science for the mine. That's what we're doing. It's been 2 weeks, so cut me a little bit of slack with that. We do have one over here, a little more difficult to get to. So I guess what we're doing now is we're waiting for our number crunchers to make enough science so we can do mining operations over here. So that's going to be fun. That requires gears, bricks, and dynamite, all in the same quantities. So I think the correct thing to do there is going to be to set up a little area right next to the entrance of the mine, which will be right here. That'll take care of all of those needs, along with having an output for everything else. So if we did something like this, put in some bricks, put in some dynamite, and then we will need another storage for gears, and then we'll need an output storage for scrap metal, which I don't think we're going to be making quickly enough to have an underground pile, but hey, there's no rule that says the dog can't play basketball, so might as well. Just get that done in preparation here. I think it's probably going to be necessary for us to end up stacking these just for the sake of things looking nice. Because I'm not going to be able to fit a 3x3 here. I'm definitely not going to be able to put a 3x3 that goes underground there either. I don't know, we'll see. There was not a stream last week, no. Almost wasn't one this week either, but we're trying. Explosives factory? I don't remember that at all. Maybe? So we have this here. See, if I can avoid having power over here as a completely separate thing, then I think that would be smart. At least for where we are right now. I'm not sure. No, the paths are all free. There is no cost to build any of these. I just don't usually end up using the different ones. Let's go ahead and let them take care of that. We got a little bit of time before we get our 4,000 science, so put that in turbo mode and continue going on with everything that we're doing here. We do need to increase our food production. I see that 1,900 here is mostly grilled corn, which, you know, it's nice to have, but the presses, the squashers, whatever you want to call them, do in fact need to be augmented. So we're going to have to figure that out. Don't know exactly where those are going to go. Or it would make sense at least. Because I got 5 of these. I probably honestly need to just make another 5. There's probably some ratio that makes more sense than just doing 1 of each again. But to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think I want to figure that out. This is normal mode, yes. I am currently getting absolutely annihilated by Apocalypse mode and hard mode in the other series, so... Yeah, it's difficult to try and do 3 or 4 different series at the same time. Especially when 2 of them are really, really hard. So, yeah, sometimes it is nice to have some time off. I'm getting very, very overwhelmed with a lot of things right now that aren't necessarily related to YouTube, but we'll see what happens. The challenge with the hard mode that we're doing with the Emberpelts is not necessarily the difficulty of the game, but the difficulty of the map and having the water not filtered, which we are working on fixing. It's just one of those things that takes time. Yeah, that was my first thought, was putting presses on top of the warehouses here. But the unfortunate thing about that is it's not going to line up and look very nice. Which I know, like, most of you probably don't care about at all, but that's the kind of thing that keeps me up at night. If I do 1, 2, I could do 3 here, 1, 2, 3 here. And then I have an engine in the middle, I guess that would be fine. But then I have more than 5 presses. And there's only 5 types of liquids, so one of them has to be doubled. And I don't know which one that needs to be. Hey, guess what? We got 4,000 science, so I'm going to get that mine going. Put this thing right here, let them build that. And make sure this is on efficient scrap metal. And there we go. There we go. Now we have these guys over here making extracts so we can make fuel. We also need to turn on, well, I guess we already have it turned on, the explosives factories. They just have to actually work. Do I psych myself up before a stream? I do not ever psych myself up for anything ever. I just am. I don't really buy into the whole toxic positivity mindset that a lot of people seem to think is a really important thing. I don't know. I'm just here. We're playing the beaver game. I don't want to lie to myself, and I don't want to lie to you. So if I'm not having a fantastic time, then I'm not having a fantastic time, but I'm here anyway. It's important to have consistency, and this is still a fun thing to do. You run out of ingredients for whichever one you choose. I think you have plenty of production, not enough farming. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. It's just so unbalanced that I really can't get a handle on what I do and do not need to have more of. I think we're probably okay on canola, but, I mean, everything else probably could use more. I just don't know how much or where to put it. Thankfully, the maple syrup seems to be doing okay. Hello, Roy. I am here. That is how I am doing. Very tired. Very, very tired. Upgrade the other 2 gear factories. Well, what we're doing eventually is we're going to completely rebuild all the industry over here so we can use the liquid fuel engines. But I wanted to get the metal going first because that's going to make it a whole lot easier. And we don't have any more scrap metal because we harvested all of it and then turned it into other stuff. So then we had to come over here and get this thing going. Which I think we're probably okay. Except for gears. Which I'm assuming is why you mentioned the gears. But I do have 3 of these things here. So they should, operative term being should, be able to keep up with this. We're just dumping a whole lot of them all at once into the construction of the mine, and that's why that's a thing. Yeah. It is very unfortunate that the dimensions of the industrial pile and the medium warehouse do not match. We have the large warehouse, we have the large industrial pile, yes, I know, but they are different things, fundamentally. Not always simple to keep up with all that. I'm going to have this path come through here and just go ahead and cover it, so I can build other things on top. And I guess if we're really, really concerned, then I could just go ahead and put in one of these guys here. Put that into an industrial pile, which of course is going to end up being for scrap metal as a supply. This as recipient thing, and then I just need to figure out where I'm going to put another medium warehouse. I guess if I want to be a little cute with this, I could just build it over the top here, right next to the ladder. Probably worse ways to do it. I don't usually build like this anyway, so that's probably okay. You know, we could even put a little bit of decoration on it if we felt like it. Put one of those guys up there. That actually... Oh, that's not going to give a bonus to the beavers working in there, so we'd have to do something else there. But don't forget, we have these half pieces in the Emberpelts mod, so if I put that guy there... Okay, that's too big. This half... Ooh, look at that. Look at that. That actually looks kind of nice. Just a little bit. I actually don't drink 5-hour energy or Red Bull. Not really much of anything with caffeine anyway, unless it's in, like, tea. Or I go out and I get a soda or something. No, my beverage of choice for streams is water. Water is good. I also do not drink coffee. Not because I dislike it, but because I know if I started, I would spend all of my money on coffee every single day. Never played Dwarf Fortress. Heard it's good. I don't really have an incentive to get into it. Gonna flood the map with contaminated water? I mean, the goal is never to flood anything with contaminated water. Where am I from? I'm from the southeastern United States. Yeah, coffee smells great. But, I don't know. I do kind of like this this modular roofing thing here. That was a thing that our dear friend Battery Smooth had in Update 4. I'm not sure if it's been updated. I haven't looked. But we used that in our Folktales modded playthrough on the Thousand Islands map. I thought those looked really good. So what are we missing here? Mostly gears. Mostly gears. That'll be fine. We'll get all that taken care of. See, do I want to try to put anything else in here? No, that's not gonna fit nicely. There's no corner pieces, which is, I guess, unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'll just leave that like that. It's kind of funky. Reminds me of kind of some 60s, 70s style architecture. What other boost can you give the miners when they're down in the hole? Well, ideally, the miners would already have the boost from wherever they're living, which would be here, because everybody lives here. But we haven't gotten there yet because we don't have the metal, and we don't have the metal because we don't have this finished. We don't have this finished because we don't have enough gear production. So, everything just kind of, you know, kind of works in cycles. You gotta do what you gotta do. So if I'm gonna be able to do lumber mill math, so that's always a challenging proposition. So if I get 2 of those guys, I already have 2 of them paused here. That's probably gonna be enough. Oh, I forgot we have a bad tide. Fortunately, this has been fully automated for quite some time. Very nice. Oh yeah, we never finished this either. Because I cut it off because we were using too much wood. We weren't doing enough anything else. It does just take time. You are absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Alright, so I'm going to turn these lumber mills back on so I can get enough planks so I can make the lumber mills over here. It's a vicious cycle. Always is. So these two, again, combined, once there is a load placed upon them, will generate 2,000 HP. So that should be plenty for us to do just about anything. Dirty Mouths, I don't think is updated for Emberpelts, but I do have the updated version for Update 6. If it worked, it would be in this this category, the well-being. But for the most part, you guys have behaved in chat, and I haven't had the desire to use that. If that changes, though, then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I might have to incentivize Battery Smooth to update that. I do have the Pantry mod. It is not updated for Emberpelts. And for some reason, I haven't been able to get it to work with the Iron Teeth very well either. But that's probably an issue of proximity to other storages being a thing that doesn't exist. Well, we already have an idea what Update 7 is going to bring in terms of the vertical terrain and the tunnels and stuff, the tubes. Outside of that, I'm not sure, and I have heard nothing else since the last time we saw that video. But I would be very interested to know when that's going to get released, because that would help me plan things a lot more. Because right now I have no idea. I mean, they do kind of have lore. Obviously, we're in a modded faction right now, so the things are going to be different. But there's little bits of snippets of quotes and information in the buildings themselves. I don't know what other kind of lore you really need for this outside of the humans are all dead and it's your job to rebuild society from the mind of a beaver. I don't know. I feel like campaigns in games that are based around building things and not combat kind of fall flat a lot of the time because it feels like you're being handheld. They'd have to do it in a particular way. And I'm not sure it's worth the effort, to be perfectly honest with you. All people died except Post 10. No, in a beaver society, Post 10 would be the first person to die. They would target him like you would not believe. He'd probably last a pretty long time, though. He's very resourceful. Considering buying Timberborn, do you think it's worth the money? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, granted, I paid less for it in 2021 than it costs now, but obviously, because I basically play this as my job, I think it's a good game. But it is genuinely entertaining. I haven't paid for a AAA game in, oh, I don't even know, 5, 6, 7 years. When did Cyberpunk 2077 come out? I think, yeah, it was 2020. Yeah. And, I mean, I only played 10 hours of that, and then I was like, alright, this isn't enjoyable anymore. So, but meanwhile, Timberborn, I think I paid $20, $25 for, when it was very early in early access, like the day it came out. And obviously, I feel like I've gotten my money's worth. That's a question you can only answer for yourself, whether or not you think you're going to get your money's worth out of it, but I've enjoyed it a whole lot. Post 10 would be the boogeyman that beaver moms speak about to their children. I'm just trying to imagine what the beaver lore for Post 10 would be. Yeah, that's the other thing. Steam reviews where people have just a tremendous amount of time in a game and they say it's not worth it. Like, what are you doing? Why are you posting this review? Or it's like people who've been playing RuneScape since like 2003. Or I guess 2004 was when RuneScape 2 came out. They've been playing it just tens of thousands of hours and all this money, and they always complain about how Jagex is a terrible company or this or that or whatever. They're like, well, if you hate it so much, why do you still play it? Well, because I like it. Well, then don't complain about it. I've never understood people like that. Probably waiting for the next Steam sale to get it. Does it go on sale? I haven't actually tracked it. I don't know. It'll be interesting. But when Mechanistry, the people who developed the game, sponsored me to do the beginning of the last series, the Iron Teeth on the Cliffside map, they did give me a link so that they could do attribution for, like, if I convinced anybody to buy the game, then they would know that I sent them there. So I don't know. If they decide to do that again when Update 7 comes out, then obviously that's something that I would encourage people to do. But if you want to buy it now, buy it now. If you want to wait, wait. It's worth buying. Yeah, it was on sale for a little bit last year. A brief period of time. I should probably actually pay attention to what's going on here. Oh, hey, we have scrap metal. That means the mine's working. So, have they finished? Yeah, okay. Why do I have 3 scrap metal if the mine's not done? I got 2 gears. I need 2 more gears. Welcome back. Good to see you. 34 euros. What's the exchange rate now? I don't know. I do know that the price did go up a couple of months ago at this point. I still feel like whatever they're charging for it now probably isn't enough in terms of the amount of enjoyment I've gotten out of it. But again, you can make the decision on your own terms for whatever value means to you. All right, come on. Come on, this one guy by himself. John Hanks, pounding away at the mine, trying to get things finished up. By Timberborn or 34 tacos. Well, hey, tacos are temporary. Timberborn's forever. Wait, how is this not connected? Oh. Yep, I absolutely did that. Yeah, because I was going to put a ladder here before I changed my mind. But now this is ready to go, and I'm going to put 9 beavers in there. And that should be everything. Just prioritize all these guys. And in time, once the gears actually start getting made in reasonable quantities, should be good to go. These are only drawing 150 combined? Okay, well. If that's the case, we probably want to have another one of these. I just don't know how far out we want to go. This is probably fine to put another one of these here. We got 3 lumber mills. 3 double lumber mills. I know the gear workshops consume fewer planks than these guys produce. So I'll put 3 of those. That should get us pretty close to 1,000 HP. Let's bring this all the way around here. And then I don't know about the rest of this. I think this is probably fine to keep these guys over here. But this mess all needs to go away, for sure. We'll just see how much more power we have to spare if I can put in smelters or something over here. I have had so many requests to play Frostpunk. I just don't know if it's something I'd enjoy. I feel like it's probably a little bit too combat-oriented for me to really feel like I want to play it. I just don't do well with stuff like that. I'm just not good at it. And the larger my channel gets, the more negative comments I receive about things when it doesn't go incredibly well. And if there is anything I have learned in 20-something years of playing games on the internet, it's that people who play combat games are ruthlessly cruel about people who are not good at them. And I just do not want that in my life. There isn't any combat? Then what am I thinking of? Oh, Misery Simulator. No, that was just college for me. I have not tried Factorio, but I do not want to play it because I don't want to deal with the bugs destroying things. Then what am I thinking of that has combat? Like, dealing with the spiders in Satisfactory is still, like, a bit more than I really care to mess with. Well, now this is really bugging me. Just simulates Alaska. Well, never been there. I heard it's kind of a unforgiving environment to live in, though. I don't know. I think I'm at a point now where I kind of have to make a values assessment of what I want to get out of doing YouTube and whether or not it is worth trying something that I almost certainly am not going to be good at. That's going to invite people to just be just be really, really toxic in comments. I don't want to deal with that. Yeah, I liked Anno. People hated Anno. I can't believe how badly people hated Anno when I put it on the channel. Because Ubisoft sponsored me to make that video. And I was going to do it anyway. They're like, hey, you want a free copy of Anno and you want to make a video about it? Like, okay, cool, yeah, sure. And then I made a couple of videos and people just hated it. They're like, man, like, I did not know people could be this angry about stuff. Like, I was having a good time, but like, people were like, I can't believe you're... Where's the beavers at? Like, all right, fine, forget it. I'm not going to do this anymore. The penguin game did have combat, but it was simple enough where it was pretty easy to figure it out. Yeah, the whales would come in and they would they'd mess with your stuff. That was about it. Yeah, I to this day I cannot figure out why people hated those videos so much. It was just me playing Anno. I don't know if it's because I was bad at it or people were mad that it wasn't the beaver game or whatever. Yeah, there's also the Frostpunk 2 thing. I saw a lot of people being really negative about that, saying that it was a bad change to the game or something. Whatever. We have a good time with the beavers, and for the most part, people are pretty good about that. I guess I can go ahead and start getting rid of these guys here. I do have unemployed beavers, though, so yeah, we probably should have additional hauling posts. Maybe. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. Are we going through the bad water fast enough for me to hire more people on here? So those guys are fine. We got refineries making fuel. I don't have enough bad water in here, so I guess we'll just go ahead and max out the bad water rig. It's probably fine. Power-wise, we're only at 765, really. Okay, well, large smelters probably would not be a bad choice if I put 2 of those there. It's just not going to be straight line pathing here, which I know is irritating, but it's fine. We'll make it work. 1,000 science, yeah, there we go. Just get this whole mess all organized over here. I know it's not super optimal to have to have this set up this way. I think actually, you know what? Do I have the materials to rebuild this? Well, I will when I... Yeah, okay. I'm going to flip this because it's going to be much easier for us to actually have literally any amount of success with what we're doing if this is a lot closer to where the storage is. We'll just put our liquid fuel engines on this side. Obviously get that one built first. Hopefully that helps. Okay, well, Pure Misery is not a very glowing endorsement for me to want to go have a good time playing that game. I really want to know what I was thinking of that had so much combat involved in it. Because I get so many emails. I honestly probably should just hire someone to go through my emails for me, but that's too expensive. I have so many emails from people that are like begging me to play their stuff. I'm like, I don't have time. So I get really, because I read all these briefs because I don't want to just completely blanket ignore stuff, right? Because that's really rude. But I read the briefs on these games, I check it out and stuff. Like, I don't really know if this is something that I want to get into. I don't know if people would like it or whatever. So it's just one of those things where I don't know from a risk-based assessment standpoint if it's worth trying to do. I mean, maybe if nobody was watching the beaver videos, I'd have a reason to go do something else. But the way it is now, these are going so tremendously well in most respects that it would be kind of dumb to stop doing beavers. I am absolutely never playing Raid Shadow Legends. No, I have Manor Lords. We played Manor Lords. I liked it. It was fun. But it didn't have enough to it to really do more than, I don't know, 4 or 5 streams on it, I felt like. Oh, I played Cyberpunk. Absolutely not something I would ever stream. But of what I played in Cyberpunk, I did like it. It's just, nah. That was 2020. And then I got distracted by Satisfactory. No, I've heard nothing about Ostriv, unfortunately. And that's what I was kind of waiting on in January, is the Ostriv Alpha 6 and then Timberborn Update 7. But I'm not going to find out anything about when those come out until they're already out. I'm going to find out same time as you guys, so... I don't know. One day I'll wake up and it'll be like, surprise, Ostriv Alpha 6 is out, and then I'm going to have to rush to get a video out so I don't get buried by the people with 100,000, 500,000, a million subscribers who put videos out. No, I actually have no interest in getting sponsorship money from things I think are terrible. There's no desire in my heart to receive that kind of income. Alright, so this one engine by itself is almost enough to power everything we built, which is a little disappointing to me, actually. Because I was trying to think how I should have this thing set up. Because there's no 2-story buildings here, so I can't get power to go across anything. I'd have to have the upward power shafts go underneath paths to do that. I don't really know that that's something we're really going to want to be messing with. So I guess the correct easy thing to do would be to just blast a little channel here. Yeah, I also have no desire to play Grand Theft Auto. So what else are we... I did not pop out the chat window and expand it, so things are going by super quick. Gotta make sure I didn't completely miss everything here. Okay, it doesn't seem like I did. I have not played Banished. I've been told it was kind of a similar thing to what Ostriv was doing, and I didn't really have any desire to play Ostriv 2.0 or whatever, or anything similar to that, because I already had that. What game is next? No idea. The Timberborn series with Apocalypse Mode and the Emberpelts have been doing so incredibly well, it would be kind of stupid to do something else. Oh, I've got Train Simulator. That is one of the very few games in the last 4 years I have actually played and not recorded. I played Space Engineers 1 for maybe an hour 13 years ago. It was okay. Didn't really care for it that much. Minesweeper stream. I'm not wasting your time like that. Space Engineers 2, I think, is out. I know Skystorm is playing one of those. I haven't watched any of the Space Engineers videos. Alright, so I've got power over here. I just need to be able to build other stuff on this side. I have to figure out exactly what would fit here. I guess probably another little lumber mill, another large lumber mill would be a smart thing. Just put that there. Actually, before they build that, I probably should build that here. Would probably be smart. And then this over here could be anything else. Because this does need to get finished. The problem with playing different games is I have to give something else up. And I don't know that I want to stop the algorithmic momentum that Timberborn has currently. Like, I don't usually share specific analytics on videos, but for basically the last 3 weeks, every video I have uploaded, with the exception of Roller Coaster Tycoon, because those get hardly anybody watching them anyway, but I like it, so I'm not going to stop doing those. Every Timberborn video I have uploaded this year has been, at the time of its upload, like another hour or so after its release, it has been ranked 1 out of the last 10 videos. So that means every single video I have uploaded this year of the Beaver game has performed better than the one before it. I think it's just now starting to slow down a little bit, now that we're 16 episodes into Apocalypse Mode, and the Emberpelts one is at episode 6. But it is like an unbelievable amount of traction these videos are getting. So from a purely results-focused perspective, it would be really stupid for me to stop doing that right now. But at some point it is going to cool down, and then, I don't know, maybe I can figure out something else that I'd like to do. But I think for right now, there's no harm in continuing with what works. So how many? I got 100-something gears. I got still not a whole lot of planks. It doesn't seem like we're actually making that many, so maybe I want to have a 5th large lumber mill. I could always replace it with something else. Because I'm trying to get to where these guys can power everything. This hasn't quite finished. Metal blocks I need to get going as well. And these, I guess I could turn back on. "25 injured beavers." The problem is because we have the mine going. The mine injures beavers tremendously quickly. And that is one of the reasons I wanted to do bots. Oh, we do need a path over it, don't we? There we go. These beavers are so hungry. Yeah, we gotta get more stuff going here. I don't know why. Oh, you know what? You know what? I don't have this fully automated. That's unfortunate. See, if I took it up to a stream gauge, I could have that be have it be automated a little bit better. But I really just have to keep an eye on what I'm doing here, which I'm not good at. Yeah, the Apocalypse Mode playthrough absolutely has to have bots. We just have to get there. Well, when the bad tide ends, I don't want to do that because this is still going to have the pollution inside of it. I want it to be completely cleared out. That's why I haven't done that. And now this is flooding a little bit. Well, I guess I could put a sluice in. I always forget that I have access to those. And then it turns into a comedy of errors when I try to do stuff and then go do something else because I forget. Just like when you force the kids to work in the coal mines and Frostpunk and the shaft collapses, so you need to set... That's horrible. I do not want to do that. Alright. I am going to just put a sluice here. I know this is going to flood everything. It's fine. It won't last forever. That could be close above contamination 1%. We'll just have that be what it is. Yeah, that's the other thing, is I've kind of, for better or for worse, I've kind of developed a brand that I only play things in specific ways, and that does not work for a lot of different games. It just does not work. But for the Beaver game, and for Ostrov, it tends to work pretty well. But for something like Cities Skylines, absolutely not. That game is way too slow, way too involved to play completely unedited. unless whoever's watching you play it just has absolutely ridiculous quantities of free time. Well, they haven't even built the sluice in the first place, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. Remember, I don't have a whole lot of metal, so that was part of the reason why I wanted to get this set the way I did. Aha! So this is actually just about perfect to get these all connected. That's good. So I guess I'll turn all this back on. What's the demand on this? 500. Okay, so I could actually just have one engine here. Huh. Yeah, Biffa is one of my favorite creators for City Skylines content. I actually started watching him for the traffic fixes and attempted to apply some of those lessons to the live stream playthrough that we were doing, I guess, almost 2 years ago. Started in the summer of 2023, right before the launch of the sequel, which, of course, did not go well. Here's the thing about video length. If I post short videos, people complain that the videos aren't long. If I post long videos, people complain the videos aren't short. But there's always the ability to pause a video and come back, and there's always the ability to watch it on 2 times speed. So if you don't like the long videos, you can always come back and finish it later. But if it's too short, then you run out of video. I also have a really, really hard time limiting myself to 30 or 40 minutes of playing most of the time. And some people have really, really strong opinions about video length. So I try not to be too long or too short. Sometimes it doesn't work. But yeah, can't please all the people all the time. That's the problem. That is the problem. And the more popular the videos get, the more attention they get, and the more people watch, and the more different opinions people introduce to comments, and then it's like, all right, this is starting to become a little bit less what's the right word? A little bit less friendly, if that makes sense. Oh boy, Soviet Republic Workers and Resources. I actually really liked that game. I had a number of people complain that I played it, saying I was endorsing communism, which that's not how that works. That's absolutely not how that works. It is a video game. It is not an endorsement of a value system. But people did not like those videos. They did not perform well, and it's like, there's really no incentive for me to try and make videos on this anymore. But I have played it outside of making videos or streaming a decent bit. How much power do these consume? It's 50, and I've got 6 of those, so that's 300, which means I do have to have that. Okay. There's also somebody who complained on the Penguin game that I was endorsing communism because the penguins don't, like, allow their children to live with their parents. And, like, all right, it's time to go outside. It's time to turn the computer off and go touch grass. So the reason I've set these back a little bit is because I can have room to put little tanks or little storages of the different things that these are going to be squashing. But I think it's probably going to be better for them to just have little tanks that we can have the haulers take care of, or we just ignore it, and these guys can just go put their stuff in the things anyway. Yeah, and the longer videos, I know there are a lot of people who do really like those because, for example, like you guys are saying, you'll put them on while you're doing your laundry or while you're working from home or while you're at the gym or something. And in that kind of a situation, it is nice to have things that are longer, that you don't have to go and find a new thing to watch every 20, 30 minutes. So that's my personal preference, is around the hour length, sometimes a little bit longer if we're having a good time or something is happening that requires that we keep it going. Like apocalypse mode, that tends to happen a whole lot. Are people crazy? Yes. Fundamentally, I, at this point, believe that the majority of humanity is completely insane. This isn't Twitter, go away would be my reply, but I don't want to be mean to people. I might have to be at some point. But, I don't know, I like doing this because I enjoy playing the games, and I like the community that we've developed here. Almost everybody is just really enjoyable to talk to and enjoy each other's company when we do live streams or just reading comments or whatever. I don't want it to turn into something where I develop a reputation for being mean to people because they're mean to me. That services nobody. Yeah, Water Beavers is the next Beaver series that I'm going to be starting. I don't know when that's going to be happening, but that will be the next one. Yeah, Twitter's absolutely irredeemable at this point. It's just, there's no value in it anymore. And there's so many bots on there. It's unbelievable how many bots and the people just have completely AI generated. So, like, what are you doing? Are you engagement farming so you get the check from the... No, stop it. That's not social media. That's... You're just exploiting a mechanic to make money. Stop it. Is there a pantry equivalent for the edible liquids? I don't think so, but that's a good idea. That's actually a good idea. I don't know how that would really work, though, because liquids are just stored in these giant tanks versus everything else, if you look carefully, actually has little individual crates. So they can be mixed a little bit easier. Hello, hello. When you start Water Beavers, which series would you end? The one that's closest to ending would be Apocalypse Mode. But I don't know for sure that will be the first one that I stop doing. It depends on how the Emberpelts one goes. Because I feel like after a certain point, it's going to be really, really easy in Emberpelts to just do a whole lot of building and a whole lot of expansion on the map, whereas Apocalypse Mode is definitely going to be a slower thing. Oh, the Twitter founder isn't even involved with Blue Sky anymore, I don't think. I do have an account on Blue Sky. I don't really use it ever, but I did set that up in case that was something that ended up taking off. But I think, to date, the only thing that I've really posted on there was interacting with the Timberborn account, and that's pretty much it. And then I posted like a YouTube year in review thing. But the problem with social media as a subject of what's the right word here? My mind is completely drawn a blank. The problem with social media is that you can have a great platform with a great interface and great features and whatever, but if people don't use it, it's worthless. Like, it has no value if people are not actually using it. So you kind of have to be in a situation where an entire populace or a subculture or something adopts everything at the same time, or it's not going to work. That's part of the reason why Twitter for a long time was so successful, is because it was a genuinely completely new experience where you had more or less direct access, quote unquote, to celebrities or sports figures or journalists or anything like that, where before that just did not exist. It was a one-way relationship where you watch a movie on TV, or you watch a show, or you watch the news or whatever, and it's someone talking at you, not talking to you. And then all of a sudden Twitter becomes the thing, I don't know, 2004, 2005, where it would send text messages to your phone if you followed accounts, and you could... That's why the tweets were originally 140 characters, is because it had to comply with the SMS limitations, and there had to be extra characters at the end for attribution for account login or whatever. So original text messages, those of you who are under the age of, say, 20 or 25 probably aren't ever going to remember this, but the originally text messages were, you had to pay for them. Each individual text message, I had to pay 25 cents, which is why I never used texting until I was in college. But the that's why the Twitter posts were originally 140 characters, because you had 160. But yeah, overwhelmingly... Oh, you know what? I never set recipes for these. sit pause. I'm just going to say canola oil, apple juice, tomato juice, beet and radish juice, corn juice, and then we probably want to have 2 making corn juice because corn is such a huge thing. We'll just go with that. This has to be finished. I don't have enough metal blocks. We're working on that slowly. What was I I don't miss free nights and weekends yet. Tell me about it. Wow. Yeah, that is a long time if you had that at. For sure. It's worth noting U.S. carriers really screw their client base. Well, that's also true. But once people figured out that texting was basically always something that could have been free and carriers were just gouging for it, they just said, all right, texting's free now. So overnight, it went from you have to pay 25 cents per text to you have unlimited text on the same plan. Which was great because, wow, now I can send all these text messages, but I didn't have anybody to send text messages to, so it didn't really matter. But I know a whole lot of people got really excited about that. Do you remember before Siri was the thing you could text a question to a number and get an answer? Yes. I'm pretty convinced at this point now that most of those things were companies that hired people in countries that were not the U.S. to just constantly monitor a bunch of phones and just reply stuff. And then, of course, you end up with stuff like Yahoo Answers or Quora or whatever it was. But yeah, people, man. People used to text without spaces, thinking it would save money. Well, I mean, in theory, if you pay per text and you don't use spaces and then you use the abbreviations, then yeah, the information density is higher. But it's also completely unreadable. Oh man, AIM. I had AIM for... I guess technically I only used it for maybe 5 or 6 years. But it seemed like everybody was using that. That was the thing you did. You got home and you fired up your dial-up and he hopped in the chat rooms. Yeah, I never really had ICQ. I got into the instant messaging a little bit too late, really, to ride that. Never really in IRC. I was on AIM and I used MSN. Most of my family was on MSN. A couple people are on Yahoo, so I did have to maintain that, and that was a little annoying. Remember the time we didn't have mobile phones? Yeah, it is astounding. This is always what happens in these live streams and why it's so much fun. Is like someone brings something up and it just sparks a whole 45-minute detour of conversation. And this is also why people hate watching these as VODs, because nothing gets done. Do non-US cell carriers still charge by the minute for calls? That is a good question that I don't know. I almost never actually make phone calls anymore. Now, I did use Telnet and MUDs for a couple of niche interest things, but I think that was definitely a little bit further along in that adoption cycle than what you're talking about. Yeah, the MSN Messenger, the nudge button. Yeah, well, the fun part about dial-up was it was always different, like a different speed every time you called in. And like I had MSN, so I had a list of phone numbers that I could call to get dial-up, and sometimes they would be too busy. They wouldn't have a good connection speed or whatever, so you'd have to try a different one. And then you randomly find a really good one that had, well, okay, really good in my case would have been like, I don't know, 36 kilobits or something. I never got 56K. Never once in my life when I had dial-up did I actually get the full 56K speed. Well, the thing about Beaver Injury is it's not ever going to get better until we get bots. So it doesn't matter. Oh, this is good. This is good. Cell phones and especially texting have created a cultural attitude shift. If you called someone before they didn't answer and you assume they aren't home, now people go into a rage if you don't. Oh, man. I absolutely despise the always-on mode of social interaction. It is exhausting. I can't deal with it. Which is why I like doing the videos, because I get to decide if I want to do a live stream. If I don't have the energy for it, I don't do it. But this whole thing of, oh, well, why aren't you answering my texts is like, I'm busy. I'm tired. I have other stuff going on, whereas even like in my lifetime, like I'm not that old, but even in my lifetime, I remember a time when people would call you and you didn't answer it and they didn't worry about it. They just ask you if they saw you like the next day or next week. It's like, oh, I tried to call you I wanted to ask you. Oh, okay, well. But no, now if you don't pick up the phone, people just keep calling you. They spam you on your other stuff. It's like, my guy, I got stuff I gotta do. I hate talking on the phone. I hate it so much. Yeah, we haven't had a landline in like, I don't know, 15 years. At home. Businesses definitely still have them. Yeah, those old mobile phones, like the big old Motorola things. that was the new hotness in the middle of the 90s, right? If you had like we had like a MicroTac, I think it was called. We have medical beds. Like, I don't know why you're so mad about medical beds. We do have medical beds. We got like 8 of them. It's plenty. We're fine. I never had a Nokia. But anybody who did, like the brick phone, the Nokia brick in like the early 2000s. I'm not talking about the 90s ones. But you could play Snake on those. That was always fun. Okay, now we do have to do something about our farming. And I really don't know what the best course of action is going to be for that. Because there's so much consumption that's occurring that I don't know what else we could possibly plant that wouldn't immediately just disappear. So we got a full storage of explosives, we got a full storage of bricks. We're actually, I think, making the scrap metal into metal faster than it's being pulled out of the ground, which doesn't make sense. So it's every hour we get 2 scrap metal. Unless they changed it for this mod. Every hour you get 2... I've got 2 of these. Oh, so 2 of these is enough. Really? That doesn't seem right. This is one per hour. This is another 1 per hour, so this will be 2 per hour. Then this is... Yeah, it's 2 per hour. Huh. Because, okay, you guys remember, we had the other playthrough with the Iron Teeth, we had the mine with 9 beavers in it, and that was feeding 6 normal, oh, guys. Oh, wait, no, that's what this is. This one is the power of 3, isn't it? I don't know. My brain is fried. Non-stop beavers for like a year and a half. Train rant? I don't know if I have the energy for a train rant today. Yeah, we do need to have another farming area. I don't know exactly where I want it to go, because it can't be too far away from where the beavers are, or else it's just not going to be worth doing. In all honesty, it probably should have been here. No, I do like trains. Sluice is set correctly. Close above contamination 1%. I'm pretty sure that's about all we can ask for. You want me to put it in front of the mine? Yeah, this isn't really flat. It's not really flat enough space. I mean, I could just fill this with water, but eh. You remember in the Update 5 playthrough we did, the very first one, I made this into a giant reservoir. I guess if we demolished this all the way flat and we built a whole bunch of contamination barriers, then this probably would make sense. That is true. There is a lot of space over here. And we do have a scrap metal that it's going to have to go away. The only question is, how feasible is this going to be to get over here? It's not necessarily easy just because it looks like it's close. This is kind of a stupid setup I did here. Get that out of the way. This also does not need to be here anymore. When did they add the rusty sound of the scrap metal? A long time ago. That was a very long time ago. So if I go across right here and come right into the corner, just don't know. See, I got my 2x1 overhang if I did that. But I'm not going to be able to build this the way that I think I want to build it until... yeah, see, like, I could easily do this, but I can't get around. I can't get across here. So that's going to be a little bit of an annoyance there. I guess I could, if I really wanted to be something. I guess I probably should be selective about what words I use. I could do that, and that'll allow them to build up from underneath. Yeah, the transport tubes are going to be cool. I don't know exactly how they're going to function. Like, if it just teleports the beaver to the other side, or if in the middle of it, you'd have the option to build special variants of buildings that would connect to the tubes underground. I think that would be really cool. So you could have, like, underground colonies almost. Wonder what the limitations will be on the tubes. Super hard to build, can't carry material through them. I would be very, very surprised if they put a crazy limitation on them, because it honestly just seems like an interesting way to make paths through things. But if there was a limitation on carrying material through them, then that would be an interesting thing to have to deal with. Oxygen not included just gives me flashbacks. I need to figure out... Oh, that was the wrong button. How do I want to have this actually set up here? If I did this... Oh, you know what? That actually isn't completely terrible. Not completely terrible. I just have to be a little careful how I had this set up. Wouldn't be the worst thing I've ever done. But I can't build it unless I have this here in the first place. I do think that does look better. You love how stupid it looks? Good. Alright, vote of confidence achieved. And this is just going to get staircases there. Yeah, I like things that make sense. This, to me, makes a little bit more sense. So now we got grilled bell peppers too, almost completely full storage. So maybe as these things saturate, we'll get a little bit of a boost here. Orange juice, corn juice. See, they're not making corn juice fast enough. That's why I wanted to have 2 more of these guys. Yeah, see, now they can actually use this. Oh, that's unfortunate. Stuffed bell peppers is the best food per square in speed, time, and really better than the grilled corn. Like, because it seems like the stuffed bell peppers. I have to look at the recipe again, but come on. Yeah, because this requires corn and tomatoes. But does it give the nutrition benefits? No, it just has its own category. So why would that be better? Why would that be better than just having grilled corn? It multiplies out drastically. I mean, yeah, I guess. But 1 corn, 1 bell pepper, 1 tomato, plus some charcoal gets you 6 stuffed peppers. Alright, I mean, yeah, that's good, but the grilled corn is just 1 piece of corn, 4 grilled corn, no other ingredients. Oh, you know who it is? Oh, that's a spicy development. Well, don't do anything I wouldn't do. But it is very annoying when people damage your stuff and don't take responsibility for it. Mirror the roofing on the store opposite the mine. Maybe? I'm not exactly sure how we'd accomplish that because of how this is set up. I guess I could put here, and I could do maybe this would be like, I guess the best I could offer would be doing that. That doesn't look terrible. I don't know, maybe to pacify the medical bed enthusiasts, I can just do one of these numbers here. That doesn't look bad. Got to brainstorm how to pop the dent. It depends on what kind of dent it is. If it's on the bumper a lot of the time, or a bumper cover, and you don't have like an SUV or a truck from the 90s when they still made them out of steel with chrome on them, a lot of the time you can just take a piece of dry ice on the in the middle of the dent from the outside, and it'll shrink it, and it'll just pop out. I don't know if that works in all scenarios. I guess it depends on what the outside temperature is. But I had success with the hot glue dent popping kits you buy online. This seems like there's no way this is going to work. It's real sketchy, but I did get it to pop some dents out. Depends on how big they are. Yeah, heat guns will also work, but you got to be really careful. You got to be really careful not to burn your paint. But sometimes it will work. There's also, again, depending on what kind of car it is, depending on where the dent is, sometimes you can take like the tail light out if it's in your back quarter panel. You can take the tail light out, and then from the inside of the car, reach in with like a drumstick or something and kind of massage it out from the inside. Again, it depends on the car. If you have a car that has really thick metal on it, it's not happening. But if you got like a cheap car that has really thin metal skin on it, then yeah, I've bent dents out with just my thumb before on some things. Oh, you posted, okay. Well, now let's find out. I can't show it to you guys on the stream. Well, I probably could if I really felt like doing that, but let's see. All right. Oh, that's not it. I was just tagged in that post. I'll have to go back and look. Oh, that won't be hard to get out. That won't be hard to get out. Is that a 3? Mazda 3? I think it looks like it could be. The front wise, at least. That one, you might have to take the fender liner out, but you should be able to get behind that with like a drumstick or like not a sharp piece of metal, but something, and just kind of massage that crease out. Should come out pretty easy. The paint, though, I don't know if that is actually paint or if it's like rubber from a tire or something. Then you might be able to gently get that out with like a clay bar or something. I don't know, but yeah, that shouldn't be too bad to fix. All right, let's read back in chat here. Keep an eye on your corn levels. If you're not careful, they will turn it all into juice or worse, cornmeal, stopping other production. Noted, but I think we have full enough storage on the grilled corn. I don't think that's going to be a problem. But we do need to We need to grow more corn. Alright, this is going to be removed. And then this goes either here or it goes here. I guess I'll just put it here. That's fine. So now we've got to get these trees out of here. I guess I could just go ahead and put 4 of these guys right here. We have enough beavers in theory. Get this thing all removed. And then we have scrap metal to go away as well, but that's going to take a lot longer. We have only 18 incapacitated beavers, so, you know, nature is healing, etc. Probably do it by hand, got to get into it, and I'm not a mechanic. That's fair, but I don't think it's going to be as hard as you think it is to get that out. Again, it depends on the car. I've not ever worked on any of those, but I know on my car, I have to take the fender liner out to change the headlight bulbs because Subaru thought that was a smart choice. But it's not really that hard to get in there. Rikasu83, welcome to the boosters. Thanks very much for supporting the channel. We're going to lose game audio here just so I can scroll back and actually click on things in here, but I'll be right back with that. What's with you Americans using toothpaste or Coke for everything? I mean, I don't use toothpaste for anything but brushing my teeth, and I don't use Coke for anything but drinking. But I know people do use stuff. Toothpaste as a polish works because it has abrasives in it. And Coke does work as, I guess, a cleaning aid because it has acid. So it's less, oh, we're going to use this for everything. It's more of, oh, we have this, and it has similar properties to something else we don't want to go find. Oh, new cats are fun. Boiling water on the plastic bumper trick works well. Yeah, that part of that car, I'm 99% sure is actually sheet metal. I don't think it's plastic. If you pause the mine and send the 9 miners to the scrap metal till it's gone, there would be no injuries for a while. That, you know what? That's really smart. Let's do that. I only have 34 scrap metal, but they can reach that, so let's do that. Let's do that. Wow, look, they're already taking care of this real quick. Okay, so that is... How close... Does that actually hit everything from right here? Alright. So I'll just do this mess right here. That's 9? Yeah. Of course, all of this is going to be removed at some point, but... Real easy to get that taken care of. And remove some of our injuries. Yeah, there's a lot of really helpful videos on YouTube for car repair. Tons and tons of good channels. Some stuff is still a lot more involved than I think I'd be willing to attempt. But I fixed a decent bit of things just by looking it up instead of, you know, having to go pay somebody to do it, which is always nice. You know, I think the bigger issue with the cars is, well, you're kind of right, I think. But they make a lot of money, the dealerships make a lot of money on repairs, and not so much on actually selling the cars, because a lot of the time they have to have, like, cheaper prices to compete with other people. So if you finance through a dealer, they're going to make a bunch of money off of you. If you take your car to the dealer to get the oil changed and you paid $200 for them to do it and you could do it in your driveway for $45, then yeah, they're going to make money on that. But as cars have gotten more reliable, overall, more reliable over the past 30, 40 years, you don't have to take it in as much. So they're like, oh, well, now we have to make it hard for them to work on it so that when they do need something fixed, then they come in here and we lock things down so private mechanics can't do anything. Like, I don't know, it's just like really, right to repair is very important. We've talked about this before. Specifically with regard to farming implements, like combines and basically anything John Deere has ever made. It's like, you got it, people have to be able to repair their stuff. You want to zoom in on beavers? All right. Where do you want to zoom in on beavers? While they're just kind of walking? Ah. Oh, you know what we also have? First-person mod. We can just walk around and do all this. Oh, yeah. I love watching those Edison Motors. Mostly shorts, but some of his videos, too. There's a lot of really smart people trying to, you know, make things not terrible in the car space right now. Yeah, there shouldn't be anybody over here at all. Yeah, they shouldn't even be coming across. Yeah, this is such a good mod. It's just really smart. Nicely detailed. Can I jump off a cliff? In life or in the game? I don't particularly care to do that in real life, but we can do that here. Now we're in bad water, but nothing's happening because there's nothing down here and we're not going to get any effect from it. I know it's really fun having an iPad with a broken keyboard and you can't replace it. Yeah, mobile device repair is a lot more difficult, unfortunately. I have done a couple, like, very minor fixes to things, but after a certain point it just ends up costing more money and more time than it would to just go and get something else, especially if what you have is really old. And then it ends up just, you know, really not being a good use of your time. They should let you use this modem to work on builds the beavers are slow on. That's an interesting idea. Head over to the cave in first person. How do I get there from here? Is that just... Oh, yeah, here we go. This is pretty cool looking from in here. I like that a lot. Obviously, this is a bad tide currently, so you can't really see too much else. I'm not going to go completely outside of this. Oh. It's going to have me fall off, but I thought that was interesting. Camdog, thanks for the gift membership. Who's got it? Oh, it's Gluff again. Long time. No see. But thank you very much for supporting the channel. Appreciate it. I like this mod a whole lot. This looks so cool from the underside. I'm glad we came over to check that out. I know there's another one too, but I don't know exactly where it is. Because that was, where was that? Oh, okay, that was there. There is one more. Get this moved along. I want to say maybe it was over here? No. Because that's what that looks like. Am I just, like, lost my mind? Where is this other one? There was another tunnel, right? Well, if I can't find it immediately, then it's probably not going to be that easy to find anyway. Do you want to do a similar build to access the ruins to the right of those by the hauling posts, or are they builders? This? I don't think we need to worry about it. Find the scrap you just started farming. Oh, yep, there it is. This was hanging down over it. Okay, yeah, this one's not quite as big. How on earth would someone make a first-person mod on a third-person game where you don't even have a character? Yeah, I'm telling you, the modders for this game are unbelievably talented people. It's just amazing what they can come up with. It truly is. It's really, really impressive stuff. Natural overhangs were added for Update 6. That was one of the things that was incorporated for the cliffside map, and that's why I used it for that first series. Set up your dynamite for your fluid dump in your new farming area. You're going to need a lot of water. Yes, we are. And I've just got to figure out exactly where I'm going to put stuff. Because there is a certain radius I think it's like 15 tiles or something. So in theory, it probably should be right about here. I'm not firmly wedded to any specific spot, but I do think this is probably going to have the most reach. Yeah, I never was any good at doing coding at all. I tried for a very brief period in college when I didn't know what I wanted to do to get into stuff like that. It didn't work. I don't have the kind of mind for it. But it is really, really neat to see people come up with this stuff and implement. Map making is also very hard. I was never any good at that. But a lot of people have come up with some really good stuff. And they have a contest that I think either just ended or is about to end. And I know they're giving out some money as prize winnings for that, which is exciting. Boat mod. A raft where they pull and you build... That would be really cool. Like choo-choo on water. It would encourage you to flood and balance that with not losing all of your land. I would be very curious to know how that would work in conjunction with the water physics. Like if it would pay attention to current or whatever. And I think for that reason it might be kind of untenable. Just because the water varies so much. Whereas choo-choo, which by the way does have a patch to make it work with the Emberpelts, and we are going to get into it at some point. But choo-choo, you just build on the ground and that never moves. But the water is constantly changing height and it's got different currents. It's got good water, bad water, whatever. And that's just, that's a lot to keep up with, I think. Lost City of Amazonia. I'm not familiar with that. Is that a custom map for Timberborn? Oh, hello, Wrenching. Yes, I am live. For at least a little bit. Choo-choo would be great to go from the mine to the industrial area. Yes, it would. And if you remember, choo-choo also works with the path extension mod. And, well, I can't show them to you now, but they do have the suspension bridges that are... Well, they're not actually suspension bridges. They're the red iron bridges where you can put the tracks on. You can span these huge gaps. We had a whole lot of fun with the choo-choo mod. Boat mod's maybe not possible because the water's a shader. Well, I don't know enough about any of that to confirm or deny that, but I guess that could end up being a problem. Create a dump that leads to the empty pool. You could green the whole plateau. Well, yes, but no. Because if it was only here, then it wouldn't reach all the way to the outside. And long term, this is probably better to just fill in anyway. Oh, they're gonna walk through this. All right. So, if we detonate all of them at one time, they can't possibly die in an explosion, right? Let's hope not. Good. You can't keep getting away with this. The trees seem to be pretty much done. I don't see any additional logs anywhere, right? Well, we'll wait for the next day to make sure, but... The beavers long for death? Well, that's not allowed. Oh, you're absolutely right. They can't get to the center one. Well, we'll fix that. Not gonna be that hard. Okay. As far as I can tell, there's no more trees that can be cut down. But I think once they have everything removed and they go and check again, then it'll say... Because it'll tell me if there's nothing for them to do. But it really does look like there's nothing for them to do. It's just not showing it. Well, we can go ahead and get rid of these anyway. I can see there's nothing for them to do. How long is the stream going to last? Probably not too much longer, to be perfectly honest with you. I did want to get some stuff taken care of before we got too far. The farmhouses in this mod are 2x3, so for us to make full use of this area with a water dump, it's going to have to be, unfortunately, a kind of irregular shape. That's going to promote a little bit more evaporation, but we'll survive. The dam build is not actually connected at all. So I was kind of worried they would let that be too much of a priority. Well, we'll go ahead and hook it back up. I know I said in the description of this stream that we're going to try to do bots, but I think we're just too far off still. We're almost there. We have local metal storage. We have scrap metal right here. That's fine. I do want to get this farm set up at the very least. Could be very cool if you could have a boat transport system over water and have to build elevators for the boats. Well, like locks. That would be kind of cool. I just worry about the issues with the dynamic nature of the water and having an item attached to it. I feel like that would have a lot of opportunities for the game to crash. But again, I'm not a modder, so I don't know. Somebody in the chat who knows more about that, I'm sure, could help you out with thinking about it. Zip lines would be cool. Whitewater rafting for the fun stats. That would be such a complicated thing to try and do. I'm very interested to see if that would even be possible. Alright, are they ever going to finish this, or are they just working on other stuff? I only have 4 injured beavers now, which is nice. Yeah, we have no corn juice. A little bit of tomato, a little bit of beetroot radish, and a tiny bit of apple juice. We probably need to have a whole lot more apple trees. Alright, are they ever going to finish this? Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? I got so many builder beavers. There's no reason for this. Okay, this is full. There. Take that out. Well, the way RuneScape kind of got around the whole boat thing is they just had stations on the river or on the shoreline or whatever, and you just teleported between things. But I feel like for this to be a viable thing that people would actually enjoy seeing in Timberborn, it would have to be dynamic. You'd have to be able to follow the beaver in the process of floating somewhere. Yeah, okay, Minecraft. People have asked me to play Minecraft. I'm not going to do it. Because I played way too much Minecraft like 13, 14 years ago. But, wow, that's a long time. There was a very, very early mod for Minecraft that would allow you to make cars, but it always crashed the game. It always crashed the game if you did like anything even slightly wrong. Later on, there was a mod that would do airships, which was really fun. Hopefully this is going to go ahead and open. Okay, when it goes down to 1. Now it's on 4, 3, 2. There it goes. Nice. Little tiny bit of flooding, but easily resolves itself. Of course, now the beavers are doing this nonsense. Why are there a few gray beavers? That is just because that is the way the mod was designed. Did the math to make every food for every beaver. The apples in the corn are the highest need, both at 1 square per beaver per... Really? That's a lot. Well, I mean, I was already planning on putting a lot of corn in here anyway, so I guess that's fine. The problem with Minecraft is that it is so saturated, approaching it from a content creation perspective. It has been so saturated for so long, it is basically pointless for anyone new to try to get into it. You are not going to get any traction at all. Like, even a long time ago when I was thinking about getting into it, I actually did make a couple of videos, didn't post them. Like, we're talking a decade ago. Like, it was beyond saturated at that point. And that was when the game had been in normal release for, I think, 2 or 3 years at that point. When Hermitcraft was first starting to become a thing. Like, now, like, everybody and their mom plays Minecraft. And you got VTubers playing Minecraft. You got everybody in there. Like, you're not going to make it as a new Minecraft person unless you have something else to offer. And it's just, it's so complicated. Like, the last time I played at all, I'm pretty sure, you know, I don't even know. When was the ocean update? Was that 1.15? It's been so long, and I know there's just so much stuff added now, and people are so good at making stuff in the game that the stuff I was making in 2011, 2012, that I thought was super awesome is basically like unspeakable levels of just slop at this point. So, I don't know. I was always more into the social aspect of it. Also, we had when I was in college, we had a server in my dorm room that we ran on the dorm intranet, not the internet. We somehow managed to get port forwarding to work for that, and that was fun. I mean, I played with a couple people I lived in close proximity to, but there's just such a high barrier to actually having any degree of success with that. It's just not worth my time doing it. Now, as something to have fun with, then yeah, sure. But otherwise, no. Let's see. Well, back, I want to say before Minecraft 1.0 was even a thing, when it was still in beta, there were a whole bunch of mods I was playing. But then after that, whenever the jungle got introduced, it was probably about the last... yeah, that's a really long time ago. It was probably about the last time I seriously played it with any degree of actual interest. Let's see. What other mods? Tekkit that was the big one. The Buildcraft pipes, Galacticraft, all that kind of stuff. Just a crazy, crazy amount of innovation. No, I don't need that to have a... whatever. That's fine. And it's a lot of fun, but if you don't have a huge group of people that actually play regularly, then it's not as enjoyable. It's just really hard to maintain interest with an entire group. There's always somebody who's going to play a whole lot, and then they're going to reach the end game in like 2 days. Or less time, and then everyone else is like, well, I don't even want to bother playing anymore because there's nothing left for me to do because person XYZ already did it, and then nobody plays on the server, and then it's not fun. I don't know if I'd want to play solo. Beyond, you know, the whole thing of not really wanting to play at all. It's overwhelming. Well, that's a horrifying thought. Did you intentionally put the dump over tile one a little higher than the rest? Yeah, because I don't need it to be too deep there. It's going to irrigate the same. I just like it being too deep, so if for whatever reason it has to pause, then it doesn't dry out as much. Multiplayer Minecraft was an elite experience a long time ago. Can't speak for it now. I can't imagine how miserable it would be to play at this point. Just absolute misery. Alright, let's get this going, and I want to start planting some crops, and then I'm probably going to have to be done for today. Got, like, no energy at all. So we got corn here, and then we said we needed apples. So I probably should just expand this. I guess we could put a tank over here just to supply this water. There we go. Lots of green, lots of green. It is kind of cool to watch this, on whatever it's doing. So I think I should be able to be just about to the edge here, once it gets completely full. Yeah, rest is important, but it's also almost impossible. But you have all this other stuff you gotta do. Oh, see, that's what I've been trying to figure out the past like week or two. Like, I am definitely still having fun doing videos. Definitely still having fun playing the Beaver game. And all that. But I got a lot of stuff going on. Not even relating to this. And I gotta figure out what kind of time I can actually responsibly spend doing this, or if I have to cut back, stop posting daily for a while. I don't know. But as soon as I stop doing this, then I know something else is going to come up that's going to require more time and more effort and be more exhausting. Like why do I even bother trying to think about it? I'm very interested to know why this is doing this. This oscillating like this. Because it's like, it's gotta be filling up. But it just stays at this radius but keeps surging outward randomly. Set the tank to obtain. Yep. Do that. So water on the one block before it flows in. Okay. Interesting. Okay, well, maybe that would be a good reason to dynamite that out again. I don't know. Because this still has to fill up a little bit. Because I want this to be substantially larger. Alright, I guess I'm just going to say, you know what? This needs to be corn. We'll just plant corn. I can't really do too much else before they get rid of all this metal here. There we go. Look at that. It's going to be, the whole thing's going to be arable. Pretty much. No, yeah, I know. I can drop a dynamite there. Guess we might as well. It was kind of interesting to look at, though. Oh, cool. I've got a couple other spots to put corn in. The majority of my audience is between the ages of 25 and 44. I'm in my early 30s. I think most of the people active in chat are probably around the same age. I know we have a few people who are in their, well, statistically speaking, there's probably at least a couple in their 70s or 80s. But the bulk of the people who are regularly watching stuff, according to the survey we did at the end of last year, are between 25 and 44. Been sick or injured all month and then got exposed to major allergen at work. That's not fun. Had to go to the ER and I'm trying to get ready for all my final exams and teaching. So yeah, if you figure out the balance thing, let me know. I don't know if I am, but you got it a whole lot worse than I do. I'll tell you that much. Get some rest. I unfortunately don't have any other advice aside from that, but I know teaching's really hard. I always thought it was interesting how relatively few young people watch these. I don't know if that's just because this game specifically attracts people who are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, or if that's just the demographics of who ends up watching my stuff. Oh, happy birthday. Turned 44 today. Sick. Luckily, everyone decided not to have a party today. Well, get some rest. Universal. Universal advice for everybody in chat. Drink water and get some rest. I feel like a child here. Eh. You're only as young or as old as you think you are when it comes to being on the internet in a community like that. And that's one of the things I really like about doing this, is that unless people start making specific pop culture references, it's sometimes pretty hard to tell how old they are. Everyone rest. Evergreen advice. I'm going to take a sip of water real quick. Very good. Actually just got, this week, a water filter thing I'm going to put under the sink in the kitchen so I can stop buying bottled water. That was, I don't even know if Beans is in chat or not, but I was visiting Beans over the holidays. I was like, yeah, we got this extra thing we're not going to use. You want it? Like, sure. So I just got a free water filtration thing, just had to go buy a cartridge for it. Oh, here we go again. I gotta hunt through the, there we go. Cool. Yeah, this is looking good. Am I good at plumbing? I mean, I can do a lot of things, but I'm not going to say I'm good at plumbing. Hooking that thing up is really not hard at all. It's no more complicated than installing a faucet, because you unhook the hose. Reroute the wall thing into the filter, and then out of the filter just goes to the cold tap on the faucet. It's just kind of like playing with Legos, except if you make a mistake, you flood your house. That's pretty much it. Do you have lead issues? No, but we have very hard water. We have other chemicals in it. So it always ends up tasting kind of weird. And it's really bad for the water heater, and it's really bad for the showers. Unfortunately, whole home water filtration or whatever is really expensive, and I can't afford to do that yet. But putting it on the sink in the kitchen would at least mean that when I get a drink of water, I don't have to worry about whether or not I bought a gallon of Crystal Geyser at the grocery store this week. Just get it out of the tap. Who says flooding is a mistake? Think indoor pool. Well, I don't particularly feel like ripping out subfloor any more than I have to. Anyone remember standing up without making sound effects? Well, my knees have been popping for the past 20 years, so not really. But the sound effects are expanding to other parts of my body now, which is terrifying. Turn it off and open the lowest tap. Yep, exactly. That's the way to do it. Every single time I got to work on plumbing. Which, for some reason, I've done probably a lot more than I should be the last couple of years. There was a time, I think it was like last summer or whatever, where I had to cancel multiple streams because I had to replace toilets. My landlord had water so hard that the water heater would bridge and short out at least once a year. That's absolutely terrifying. Yeah, I got tired of dealing with the individual pitchers for water filtration, because there's never enough room in the fridge to keep it. No one would ever refill it, and then you have to wait for it to get you have to wait for it to filter if it's empty and you want something to drink. It's like, forget it. Yeah, the drinking fountains get really gross. What do you do to toilets? You have to replace multiple. Have a house that's 35, 40 years old, and suddenly things need to be replaced urgently to prevent damage to the rest of the house. Stuff just wears out, and sometimes it wears out in new and interesting ways that you hadn't considered, and starts causing damage to other stuff because it's leaking. And then it stops being, okay, we should probably replace that at some point, and it immediately becomes a turn off all the water now, and we're going to go buy one. Unless you want it to turn into having to call somebody to rip out drywall and stuff. Which, let's be honest, I'm probably going to end up just doing myself if I had to do that. 5-stage reverse osmosis under my sink, just replacing filters twice a year, and then the membrane and carbon filter. That's what I want. But it's really expensive. Well, compared to, hey, I have got an extra one of these, you want it? Like that. Who's going to say no to that? But yeah, eventually I do want to put one where the water comes in from the street. Just because, oh god, the showers just get so gross. Because there's all that scale and the buildup, and it's not actually like filth. It's just, it doesn't clean. Because it just sticks to everything. No. No, it's not like you're not wearing out the toilet. You're wearing out, like, the fittings. The fittings, like, between the tank and the bowl wear out. Because, again, the water is so hard, it, like, rusts all the fasteners, and the rubber breaks down, and then all of a sudden it's leaking. Like, hey, what's that spot on the ceiling? Oh, that's a problem. And then, yeah, it's a whole thing. But we've replaced all of them. They're all good to go. Hopefully, no, I am not married. I live with my parents. At $3.99 is the way to go. That's what I'm saying. If there's a way to do it for free or for cheap and it not be completely stupid, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm trying to think. And here we go again, not playing the game, just talking about adult things. But I would love to be able to afford to put in whole home water treatment stuff. If for no other reason than to just not have to worry about all the garbage building up in the pipes because of hard water. And knowing that I can just drink it out of the tap and be fine. Mineral scale is just, yeah, it's absolutely obnoxious. You get the Japanese singing toilets. How much money do you think I make? Those are expensive. No, just whatever Home Depot had that wasn't painfully expensive and also didn't look like it would break in 5 seconds. Yeah, the water softener would be part of the water filtration unit that I would put in. Where it comes into the house, I don't know how it is where you are, Hoff, but the water coming into our house is the main from the street, comes in from the regulator at the curb, and then it comes into the house in the whatever 3/4 inch or half inch, whatever it is, copper pipe, and then from there in the basement it goes and splits off to all the different sinks and goes to the laundry room, and then it goes to this or whatever, and then there's another pipe that goes over to where the water heaters are, and then all the hot water gets plumbed up to the fixtures. So I really should have it installed there. But the free $3.99 option to put under the sink that gets used the most to, you know, cook food with, or if you're thirsty, you get a drink of water or whatever, that's the smart place to put it. How many gift subs equals one singing toilet? Well, those toilets are, what, $1,500? So $4,000? Wait, no, that's not how the math works. Because I keep 70% of every sub, and they're $2.99. Minus 30% tax because I have to pay both sides of FICA. Also, I got hard vetoed on getting a fancy bidet toilet. Because apparently people think that's a weird thing. Alright, $2.99 times 0.7. So I keep basically $2.10 from every membership that gets bought. So, yeah, it would be like 700 or 800 memberships probably to be able to actually afford one of those. But then that actually does have to be installed, and you have to have another outlet run, and you have to have it hooked up to hot water, or it has to have a heater in it. It's incredibly complicated. Yes, this is what we talk about during live streams. For those of you who are actually curious. 173 people now listening to me talk about expensive toilets. All right, good. When I was apprentice, my teacher was called John, but we called him John the Baptism. He was always getting himself and everyone with him wet. I'm assuming that's a plumbing-related thing. That sounds about right, if you were talking about the drinking fountains earlier. The most common reason toilets get changed out is the Mrs. wants to renovate the bathroom, and oops, I dropped a hammer and accidentally broke the toilet. Well, at least you can get toilets relatively cheap. It's just really annoying to change them. Missing us out on some planting. Yes, because I've been distracted by talking about expensive toilets and plumbing repair. During the pandemic, when everyone and their mother was hoarding toilet paper, because apparently that was something that made sense for people to do, I did buy a bidet, and it was fantastic. I saved so much money on toilet paper. But yeah, I guess there's still a stigma with a lot of people about that, which I don't understand. It's like, it's just a thing. You don't have to be weird about it. But I miss it dearly. I had to leave it behind when I moved out of that place. Well, yeah, of course Finland's going to have the cleanest tap water in the world. Look at all that glacial melt you guys have. Speaking of Japanese toilets, I have 2 of them. They're between $1,500 and $2,800. Yeah, sounds about right. $2,800 USD. But when I bought my house in the Tokyo suburbs, I was about to say, go to bed. It's real late over there. Okay, because it's about 4 p.m. where I am. I thought Japan was like 13 hours and not 12 ahead of me. I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't have to be weird, folks. It's an appliance. It's part of your house. Everybody uses one. Doesn't have to be weird. Star Druid, thanks so much for joining Beard Boosters. Really appreciate you. Enjoy the limited selection of emotes, I guess, and then early access to videos. But yeah, really appreciate it. Check the dam. No, it's good. We automated it, remember? Sluice gates. Unless you're talking about this. Yeah, they're still working on this. Not going to be a tremendously fast thing. But we can give them a little bit more of a help here in getting that done. I have been curious about how many of us there are. Beard Boosters. Active, a little over 400 currently. Total names is between 1,400 and 1,500. Managed to catch you live for the... Oh, hold on, it moved. Managed to catch you live, thankfully. How do you like the Emberpelts? I love this mod. This is a fantastic mod. Highly, highly recommended. I have not used bot control towers yet. I was going to get into bots today, and then we got distracted. And now we're talking about Japanese toilets, because apparently that's the thing that we... That's apparently the thing we talk about in live streams now. Retired 58-year-old carpenter here. Love your videos. Thank you. Changed many a toilet out when I was flipping houses. Yeah, it's... I mean, it's not really... It's not that it's difficult. It's not even necessarily gross. But it's just such a pain. Because if it's upstairs, you got to lug it up the stairs, and then you have to remove the other one. You have to deal with the water that's in there. I usually just end up using a shop vac. If the toilet still works, I will clean it. It's sad that I have a routine for this, apparently. Having never replaced anything but the ones in my own house. But you clean it, and then you flush it a couple times, and then you go get the shop vac, and then you vacuum out the trap, and then you take it out. And that ends up not putting a whole lot of everything all over the place. But it's just so annoying. And then you have to dispose of it. You can't put that in the trash can at the curb. You got to go to the dump, or you have to find somewhere to leave it until you can go to the dump, and that's just like, stop it. It's annoying. Oh, you woke up early. Okay, good for you. I know the sunrise is really, really early in Japan. I guess I get to tell this story again. I was on YouTube one day, almost 2 years ago, and because I watch a whole lot of train videos, because obviously, and I got a link to a live stream in, what's that called? It's on the Noto Peninsula, where they had the earthquake last year, but it was before that. They have there's a little tourist railway, and they got a webcam at this one station that I guess in the spring when the sakura trees bloom, it has a really, really, really nice landscape of just cherry blossoms absolutely everywhere. So I started watching the live stream. You see they got these DMUs that go by every 15 minutes, and you can see them come by. Oh, that's a neat thing to keep on the other monitor. But that was how I learned the sun rises in that part of Japan very early in the morning compared to where I am. Like, wait, why is the sun coming up? Isn't it like 5 a.m. or whatever over there? And then where I live, the sun doesn't come up in the wintertime until 7:30, 8 o'clock or something. Anyway, completely unrelated. Finland doesn't even have glaciers. That's Norway. Look, it's close enough. You're a lot closer than I am. It's almost 6 a.m. Okay, that makes more sense. All right. Now, it keeps skipping me down to the bottom of chat every time I try to scroll something. 5 a.m. in Perth. Does Japan do daylight savings time? That I don't know. I think they just have the one time zone for the entire country. Path on the dam. Okay. Yes, I forgot that I'd removed that with the bridge. Yeah, well, they're making good progress here. We can't just watch them do this while we're sitting here talking about everything else. Recommend installing water filters on main pipes. Yeah, that's what I was going to do. Like right when it came into the house. But that's a very expensive thing, and you got to have somebody come in who's actually a licensed plumber, because they've got to cut the copper, and they've got to... Well, I guess they probably don't do soldering anymore. I think they all use ProPress or whatever now. But you got to have somebody who knows what they're doing and is not going to make a stupid mistake, because then you flood your entire basement, and it gets very expensive very quick. Lawn ornaments? No, I think my neighbors would be very angry if I used toilets as lawn ornaments. Okay, I think I finally got to the bottom of the chat here. Bust the toilet up and throw it in the trash. Why didn't I think of that? That's actually really smart. I just see this, like, giant porcelain monolith. I'm like, well, how the heck am I supposed to get rid of this? Old toilet, put plants in it. Someone up the road did that. It's near the road where everyone can enjoy it. You want me to make a planter out of my toilet? That's the kind of thing that people complain about lowers property values. ProPress is so nice now. See, I guess it works fine. But I've always just thought there's no way just pressing on something is going to seal it. But I guess it has O-rings or whatever in there. Because for the longest time, everything I had ever seen about plumbing was you got to get your blowtorch out, you got to get your solder or whatever the actual chemical is you guys call it. Because I've done soldering for electronics before. It's probably not that hard. But I remember anytime we had a plumber come in and actually have to work on something, they had to bring in that piece of the fireproofing to put in the wall when they have their blowtorch out. Oh, shark bites. Every plumber I know hates those things. Because that's the first thing the homeowner who's going to the Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever is going to go buy. Because, oh, you can install this yourself. And then they do it wrong. And then it's like, oh, why is the entire, all the water in my house just pouring out and flooding everything? Well, because you used a really terrible fitting and you didn't know what you were doing. If they're installed correctly, they supposedly work really well. But that's the temptation when you're a do-it-yourselfer, because you think, I'm going to save money doing it myself instead of hiring somebody. But do you really? Do you really save money when somebody has to come redo everything that you do? Thinking of flux. Okay, close enough. I'm so against ProPress, can't beat Yorkshire joints. Okay, well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because I've always been really skeptical that that was actually going to be a viable long-term solution. Because when you do the soldering on the pipes, it's a permanent joining of things. Versus, okay, you got your cool thing from Milwaukee that cost you a whole bunch of money, and then it just presses really hard on the pipe. Yeah, obviously it works, but the degradation of the O-rings over time, I would be very concerned with. One sluice is not enough. Is it? All right. Well, let's take a moment then to fix that before it gets too crazy. And I guess this overflow here is probably fine. Oh, why don't those line up? Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm going to have to replace this with the dam. That's fine. We'll just let that be what it's going to be. Why do we even need the sluice in the dam? So that this can continue releasing water if we feel so inclined. I can turn it off, but I did want to retain the option to do that in case I wanted to water this area down here. Because remember, this was going to be completely closed in. We just stopped working with it because I ran out of wood. I will probably end up removing this dam and replacing it with a regular levee. I just want to get this done. One sluice is way more than enough. Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. Because this one only has one sluice. I don't want to take it out. I don't want to take it out. It's just going to stay there. I can just keep this permanently closed. That is an option. Don't use 1 or 2 sluices on your hard mode playthrough. That's a lot of water coming down the hill. Huh? I don't think I follow. Is there a specific place you're talking about for that? How much corn juice do we have? There we go. Still can't keep up with that. I was wondering when this would finish growing. I guess they just harvested a decent bit of it, and it still wasn't enough. Move all the birch. Create an apple farm. Are you talking about, like, down here? I can't get down here. So what I probably should be doing is making more apple trees over here. Do I have the ability to reach all the way? I do. They're just chewing through them really, really quickly. And other Emberpelts playthrough where each dam only has 1 sluice at the bottom for 3 water sources. I don't think I've used sluices for that. Unless I did and I just completely forgot. Who knows? I don't think we're ever going to have bad water come through here. Remember that this is already filtering out all the bad water, and it just spills over the side here. Okay, now we're actually harvesting corn. I mean, the food numbers are going up, so I think it is slowly improving. This is just always going to be really hard to find the balance. It's going to be a very, very difficult thing. That's making charcoal. We probably don't need all that to make charcoal. Got plenty of explosives. We got, wow, we have 1,100 metal. So we actually do have enough stuff to do bots, but now I feel like I can't really stream long enough to make bots worth it. So that would probably have to be next time thing. Spent too much time talking about toilets. Somehow there's still 170 of you here. Oh boy. Well, it's too bad we have a bad tide coming in, because sure was going to be nice to have this whole thing finished up. So I guess that specific sluice I will just set to close. And since this is not going to stop anything, I have no incentive to have this actually open. We'll just let this continue to fill up. Wood numbers are going down, yes, because we're building a giant everything here. We've got plenty of wood to grow and plenty of wood to harvest. It's going to be fine. What's the green sludge in the barrels? This is fuel. This is extract, and this is bad water. So the Emberpelts can make fuel from a bunch of different methods. I'm currently making it out of bad water. We can also make it out of radishes, canola seeds, corn, or beets. And you can also make lubricant for the bots. Stuck on the oak cycle, need another tree farm. I mean, I don't think so. I think we're fine. We just ended up using a whole lot at once. It's not really an issue of the oaks aren't fast enough. I really don't think it's a problem. Remember, we have all these pines as well that we're continuously cutting down. First map I saw you play on like a year or something ago. Yes, end of September 2023 was when Update 5 came out on experimental, and this was the first map that I played on that. We had a whole bunch of industry down here. This was a Badwater mining area, although this map I think has changed slightly since then. We had this area up here as our main population area. We had this be a giant reservoir and all that. And then a long time ago, I think in Update 3 maybe, Update 2 or Update 3, we did a series here in hard mode. That was a good playthrough. That was, I think, to date, the most viewed playthrough that I've had. Gonna rewind and watch the whole stream. Good luck, chat. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. We're about to be ending here in a little bit as well. Just wanted to make sure that we had something accomplished before we're signing off for today. Yeah, did not have the caves because the overhangs are a brand new Update 6 thing. But this land, I'm pretty sure, was just here, and then this was a pass-through. I don't know, you could probably go back and look at the videos if you wanted to. But yeah, all the maps got a little bit of an upgrade or changes, not necessarily automatically an upgrade. But yeah, they've done a lot of work to the game. Alright, so we got a bad tide approaching. This dam is very close to being finished, and I feel like we got a lot of good stuff done today. We fixed our industrial. We attempted to fix food. Still in the process, but we've made some good progress here. Probably about as good of a place as any to just go ahead and say goodbye for today. 6-day bad tide. I don't know when we'll pick this back up. Sometime, hopefully soon. But I got stuff I got to go take care of. I appreciate you seriously for being here, tolerating the nonsense, the non gameplay occurring. But this is why I really like doing the streams, because you can just enjoy each other's company. So whatever it is, whatever time it is, whatever you're doing with the rest of your day, have a fun and a safe time, and we'll catch you again soon for more beaver fun. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.